whenever there's like bad news that they don't want people to talk about, watch. It's always on a Friday afternoon. Edgar Wright leaving Ant-Man was on a Friday afternoon.
Was it?
It's always bad news on a Friday afternoon.
I never noticed that.
And a lot of times, if they can, it's on a holiday weekend when there's nothing on Monday, because then none of the movie sites do anything. None of them cover it like they could. There's no podcast about it. It's a thing. All right, we're recording.
Yeah, we've been recording.
You should put all that up. All right.
I should.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Herders. I'm Nick.
I'm Rich.
And we are from the Over Beer channel, the greatest channel in the history of channels.
Yeah.
So great that we don't even have our own URL.
Yeah. We're like one of those underground like clubs or restaurants
where they speakeasy.
Where they don't have a name and you gotta like follow them and discover the password and all that bullshit. And
we have a secret word that you can say to watch us, and it's subscribe, and nobody wants to say it.
No one's saying it.
All right, so we're drinking a beer this week.
We are drinking a beer. In typical Over Beer fashion, we're drinking a beer. Today we're drinking Florida's True Blonde Ale from the Tampa Bay Brewing Company. I'm warming up to it.
Yeah, at first it's grown on me. It's from Florida. We're in Florida right now.
Draft beer to your face.
Established
Trademark.
Way back in 1995.
As a young lad.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite old enough to drink then.
I think Babe came out that year.
Yes.
Yep. Before he was just a young pig in the city. All right, so today, on today's episode, we're going to talk about what we've been up to.
Yes, we are.
So, what have you been up to?
I haven't been up to a whole lot.
What?
It's been kind of a slow week for me.
Oh, man.
I did see one thing I want to talk about, though.
Okay.
One big thing making its rounds, getting a lot of buzz. I saw The Witch.
Oh, yes, you did. I did not.
You should see it.
I'm going to.
Because it's very good. I don't want to get into too much because I don't really want to spoil it. Because I
still have seen nothing.
Okay, so I
haven't seen a TV spot. I haven't seen
So, do you know anything about it?
I know it's about witches. I think it takes place in Salem.
Okay. It's hard for me to have this because I don't want to really talk too much about it. Because, like, you're like me, I wanted to go in totally blind. Anytime a trailer would come up on TV, I turned it off. I never saw one in the theaters. I never saw it advertised in the theater.
Every once in a while, a movie will get great buzz coming out of, I think it was like last year's Sundance. Right?
Yeah.
And
it was Toronto, I think.
Toronto. It was at one of those.
One of them. I don't know.
And there'll be like these things, and people will come back, and I listen to all these movies, but we listen, and people are like, "This movie's amazing. It's terrifying. Don't know anything. Don't go in blind. Don't."
Yeah.
Then every once in a while, when I can, I do. Now it's become kind of a not so serious thing because of the MTV show. But when Catfish debuted at Sundance, a lot of people were talking about it, and they're like, "Just don't know anything about it. Don't watch the trailer.
Yeah,
the trailer gives
I remember
too much
that.
away." And I remember going to see it, having literally no idea what it was about. I thought it was a horror movie.
That's what I thought too.
The way people talk about it,
and then the way it builds, and you're like, "Oh, we're at this farm or whatever," and they're in the dark, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on
there?" And then it was just.
And then it takes.
Redneck.
Yeah.
But anyway, people know what that is because MTV has aired like 100 episodes with those guys.
Yeah.
And now they know what it is. But yeah, I wanted that for The Witch.
And I definitely say do that. It's very good. I feel like it's this year's kind of Babadook, It Follows type of horror movie where it gets a lot of buzz at its festivals, it blows up, and then like the audience reaction, like the public reaction is kind of all over the place because there's...
Yeah, I've had 2 people tell me they didn't like it and 2 people tell me it was great.
Yeah. And now you have a third person telling you it's great. Because it's not a typical, like, your standard January, February type horror film that's coming out. Like, when you typically get, like, a January, February horror film, it's usually a found footage,
white noise,
shitty,
right?
Yeah, white noise, just like, oh, here's this horror movie, let's just dump it.
Yeah, it's also seems to be like this year's British movie because the 2 people that I know who didn't like it said that it was hard to understand what they were saying.
Except it wasn't really British that they speak.
No, I know,
okay.
but they're like speaking like
Old English.
Right.
Yeah. Which is the detail and level of stuff that they go to like recreate that time period, from the clothing to the dialect and the way they speak and the way they just take care of everything on there is really, really incredible.
So like Strawberry Bank?
What?
You don't know what that
I
is.
have no idea what that is.
I grew up in New England, and we used to go on field trips all the time to this place called Strawberry Bank, where they pretend that they were from that time.
Like that episode of South Park where they're like in the old...
Just like that, Strawberry Bank.
Oh, what's that, kids?
Every year for a field trip, and they'd be like, "What's that big yellow vehicle over there? Is that pulled by a horse?" And it's a school bus, and you know what it is. It comes every day here. Strawberry Bank.
If you guys are watching at Strawberry Bank, get your shit together.
They're not, because they don't know what the YouTube is. YouTube. Okay, so.
But yeah, it's very good. It's very creepy. It's definitely a little on the slower side.
Okay.
I'll go see it. Let me know your thoughts, and then we can have maybe a spoiler discussion on it. Because I do want to talk more about it, because I really haven't had a chance to talk to really anybody about it. Because like it's gotten a lot of buzz online, but not many people I know have actually seen it. But I certainly recommend it. It's well worth your time. Yeah, without going into too much detail, I can't say much more.
All right, I will see it.
Okay.
I will see it. Maybe next week we'll be able to do. We'll have it up. We'll
have a spoiler chat or something up.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So I've got two things.
Okay.
One of them is going to be. They'll both be pretty brief. All right. So I've been playing a game and something else. So, what do you want first?
Let's do the game.
All right. So I've been playing through Lego Avengers, which I did not talk about last week, even though I was playing it, because I was up to a whole lot last week. Go back and watch that.
Yeah. Last week was a busy week for both of us.
Yes. But here's the Lego Avengers for Xbox. And it's pretty awesome. It's a Lego game. There's some mechanics in it. It's been a while since I played a Lego game.
Okay.
So there's some mechanics in it that have definitely changed and upped the ante a bit. There's some like shooter stuff that in a way that I wasn't familiar with from past Lego games. So that's really fun. Flying is fun. You know, as Iron Man and Thor and whatever other characters.
They have some of those in. I haven't played
Dimensions.
The new one, but they have like Wonder Woman in Dimensions, and Superman hasn't come out yet. But when you play as Wonder Woman, you can just I got to travel to this side of this hub world, and I don't have to worry about driving there.
And it all feels really good,
mm-hmm.
and driving vehicles and stuff is all good. So basically, I've put maybe like five hours into this or something.
Okay, so you're not
I'm not super far.
Okay.
But I've played, it covers basically most of the movies in the MCU so far. So I've played through, it opens with part of Age of Ultron, then it goes back, and you play through Captain America and the Avengers and some of those early Phase 1 movies, and I've done all that, and now I'm moving into Phase 2. So it's good.
All right.
If you like that stuff, go ahead and play it.
One of the criticisms that I had read about it was like the way they handle the dialogue and the voice acting, and like, they just cut out clips of the movie and they paste them in there, which they do a little bit in by the Dimensions. A lot of it they got new dialogue, but for like Ghostbusters, where they weren't going to go, they get Bill Murray and all of them to come back. They just clipped out dialogue from the movie, which it never really seemed to bother me in there. Is it as bad as kind of the?
There's a couple points where it's not that they pulled dialogue from the movie. It's just there's some weird like dialogue or like sound issues.
Okay.
Where like volume will drop really low and you can't hear some of what's going on. I don't know if that was to like drop out some of the background noise that was happening from the track.
Yeah.
Or what. But other than that, no, it's fine.
Okay.
It all works. They I've seen those movies so many times that like you can tell when they're repurposing lines for other things and it works though.
Yeah.
I think it's good, it's funny, it's fun.
Cool. I'm excited to play it eventually. I'll wait.
Yeah, no, you'll really like it, I'm sure.
Cool.
So the other thing I wanted to recommend this week, as of today when we're filming this, I'm sure that you've listened to the podcast, WTF, Marc Maron's podcast.
No, I haven't.
You've never listened to WTF?
I've never listened to WTF.
Okay, what the fuck? How have you never listened to WTF? You know what it is, though?
I think you've told me about it before.
Probably.
And I think you've told me to go listen to it before, and I never have.
You've never listened to Marc Maron's podcast?
No, you're watching this, and he keeps asking me the same question. I keep giving him the same answer.
So you say yes.
Ask me next week. Maybe I'll say yes.
So, for those who don't know, I think he's like 400 episodes in, or something crazy. But Marc Maron is a comedian. He had been a stand-up comedian for years and years and years, and then, 5 years ago, he started a podcast, WTF, where he started off as he just interviewed other comedians about how they got into their process and stuff. But getting to the, there's only so many comedians. So then he started branching it out a little bit, and he'll interview a lot of like film directors and stuff like that. He interviewed President Obama on a podcast called What the Fuck, which is great, and he records it out of his garage.
Oh wow!
And like he had Obama come to his garage.
That's cool.
With all of his cats, and so like that's how big this guy. I think it's like, for years. I don't know if it's still really popular, but for years it was like the highest rated podcast on iTunes, and it's really great, great if you're interested in comedy. But today he put up a 2.5-hour interview with the great film director William Friedkin.
Oh,
and it's a 2.5 interview about his career, and Friedkin is just like totally open about everything. I listened to the whole thing.
Wow.
It's fantastic. His stories about, how he got to the point where he made the French Connection and The Exorcist, and then that time, and then kind of the dark time after, and everything else he's done. It's been a long, dark time. Yeah, it really has. But if you have any interest at all at his career, definitely check those out. Recently he made Killer Joe, which was awesome.
Oh, that's right. I do
so
love Killer Joe.
Yes, but really good interview. But just in general, listen to the WTF podcast. You really should listen.
All right,
to it.
I'll listen
to it.
Go
back and find some of those great episodes. Because
if you haven't figured it out, great.
It's great.
Great.
And it's one of those ones that you can go back and watch. Like or listen to. You'll go in and you'll be like, oh, okay, Daniel Craig was on. That was clearly just to talk about...
He's promoting this
Spectre.
Yeah.
But that's never where the interview... It's never an interview just about... It's always...
It's never those, like, puff interviews where, like, the...
He doesn't do that.
The media... Whatever the hell they're called.
Like junkets.
The junkets and stuff.
No, that's not what he does. They're always, like, crazy, funny, open, honest. It's like The Nerdist, but with the less annoying host.
Okay.
Even though I appreciate what Chris Hardwick does, but he's a little annoying, let's be honest. So yeah, check that out. William Friedkin, 2.5 hours with Friedkin.
I'd listen to that.
It's good.
All
right, so that's what I've been up to. That's what you've been up to.
Yeah, it's been a light week.
Yeah, not too much. I'm talking about a podcast.
Yeah. we're really scraped 23 weeks in, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
But hey, next week might be, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll do some exciting stuff.
Maybe, hopefully.
Maybe.
We're hoping.
Yeah.
Find out. Watch us next week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to wait till next week, you can find out what we're up to by following us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Rich Belson.
I'm at Stonks.
You can follow the channel on Twitter at OABeer_official, and you can email us at overbeerofficial@gmail.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/overbeer, where we do post all of our videos daily. You can also find us on Instagram now at over_a_beer. We sometimes post previews of upcoming episodes, beers we're going to be drinking, things that are happening. Sometimes Nick will post Instagram photos of me talking about our Instagram channel, which you can find up now that he posted it.
I said I would.
And now you know kind of when we record and a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak. You can find us on YouTube as well, again, by clicking this video, clicking the link somewhere. No custom YouTube URL yet. I think it was this video that we said we only have. Is this the one? I don't know. All these videos are running together now. We're Speakeasy.
Yes.
You gotta say the secret word. You gotta subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe. Share with your friends. All that fun stuff. I think it's gonna wrap up what we've been up to for this week.
I'm gonna play you out with some sweet tunes. All right, keep going.
All right. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.